I don't think billionaires should exist. No one needs that much money. I think it's inhumane. Pick any city, walk around, you see people starving, people without basic necessities. There's no excuse for that. And it's not because people are lazy or don't want to work. The billionaires that keep amassing more and more wealth so they can build rocket ships and do whatever the hell they want to do, that does nothing for humanity.
Your critics say that's class warfare.
Yeah, class warfare has been going on in this country for the last 40 years. The billionaire class has been taking everything and leaving the working class with nothing.
So you welcome it. You want the war.
It's always, whenever working class people ever step up and say, this is wrong, we want it to stop, all of a sudden, oh, it's class warfare, it's the end of the world.
These are people that have so much money that they could literally solve world hunger, cure diseases, and end homelessness overnight, but instead, you'd rather buy their fifth mega yacht or a private island bunker, or a space rocket so that they can cosplay astronaut, while the rest of us burn in a late-stage capitalistic hell.
America has over 38 million people living in poverty. 1 in 5 children go hungry, and half of all Americans can't afford a $500 emergency. There is no moral or logical reason for one person to hoard more money than they could ever spend in 10 lifetimes. While everyday people are working 2 or 3 jobs just to get by, billionaires are making money in their sleep because their wealth grows through stocks, tax loopholes, and political connections, not hard work. They dodge taxes legally while regular folks get audited for claiming too many dependents. The 25 richest Americans paid a true tax rate of just 3.4%, while the average middle-class American pays around 13%. Not even counting the extra bite from sales tax, payroll tax, or gas tax. Many of these billionaires didn't build their empires from scratch. They inherited them, then used that wealth to buy power, rewrite the rules, and block progress like universal health care or a living wage.
What upsets me more than anything is that they could choose to change the world, but they don't. We are living in a time where children are starving to death, while billionaires build underground doomsday bunkers, where families go bankrupt from medical debt, while CEOs buy another jet to add to their collection, where entire communities lack clean water, while some rich asshole spends $500 million on a vacation home that he'll never sleep in. Let's be clear, no one needs even $1 billion. No one. At that point, it's not wealth. It's a sickness, a hoarding disorder on a global scale.
Hoarding extreme wealth, far beyond any reasonable need, mirrors the clinical patterns of compulsive hoarding, a recognized mental disorder rooted in anxiety, insecurity, and a distorted sense of control. Psychologically, the obsessive accumulation of money, often at the expense of others' survival, reflects a deep emotional dysfunction where safety, identity, and self-worth are tied to possession, not connection or contribution. Just as hoarders of objects fear letting go of useless items, billionaires cling to capital they will never use, driven by a pathological fear of scarcity or irrelevance. This behavior detaches them from empathy, numbs their response to suffering, and fuels delusions of superiority. In this context, amassing billions while people starve or go without shelter is not ambition. It's a socially accepted, glorified form of mental illness.
You said in the book that there should be no billionaires.
Yes.
No one should be a billionaire.
Yes.
If they pay their taxes and they are successful, what's wrong with that?
Well, if you had a tax structure that was fair, they would not be billionaires. Look, here's what's wrong with it. What's wrong with it is if you work hard, you're into money, you make a successful business, should you be rich? Fine. But really, I think...
But there should be a cap. Where do you put the cap?
Well, I just said for a start, they should not be billionaires. So the cap
you
would
could
be,
have 500 million or 200 million?
Well, I'm not writing tax reform here, but I do think that it's insane and absurd that you got people with hundreds of billions of dollars, tens of billions of dollars. I think that is, the system cannot afford them. We can't afford them.
We can't afford billionaires because their wealth doesn't come from creating value. It comes from extracting it from everyone else. They profit by turning basic human needs into commodities. Homes become rental empires, healthcare becomes a paywall, and education becomes lifelong debt. Companies like BlackRock and billionaires in Big Pharma don't just capitalize on crises, they create them. Millions are rent-burdened, uninsured, or bankrupt from medical bills, while the ultra-rich collect passive income from suffering. Their philanthropy is often a tax shelter, not a solution. This isn't accidental, it's the business model. Deny people what they need, then sell it back at a premium. Worse, Billionaires actively block progress to protect their monopolies. They flood politics with dark money, sabotage climate action, crush unions, and rewrite laws to keep wages low and taxes lower. In 2020 alone, they made $1.8 trillion while essential workers got crumbs. They don't just hoard wealth, they hoard power, silence opposition, and distort reality through media they own. They exploit global labor, automate jobs away, and wait for economic collapse to buy up what's left. Their existence isn't a sign of a thriving economy, it's proof it's rigged. Every dollar they hoard is a school unfunded, a hospital understaffed, a community left behind.
Come here. Nobody earns $1 billion. If you made $10,000 every single day from the day the Declaration of Independence was signed to today, you would still not be a billionaire. Billionaires are only possible through amassing wealth through generational wealth and extracting it through the labor of real workers, government subsidies, and tax loopholes. Let's take the minimum wage. It's been 14 years since the last federal minimum wage increase. It's been so long that the rallying cry of a $15 minimum wage no longer cuts it. Now we need at least a $20 minimum wage. Which obviously more than doubling the minimum wage overnight is hard. But the thing is, we could have been raising the minimum wage incrementally over time, but we didn't because of billionaires using their wealth and money and influence to stop it.
So many people, especially from the middle class, defend billionaires because they've been sold a fantasy that if they just work hard enough, they might join them. It's psychological manipulation rooted in propaganda, not reality. They see billionaires as aspirational, not parasitic, because media owned by the rich convinces them that taxing the ultra-wealthy is an attack on freedom, not theft in reverse. But here's the truth. Billionaires aren't just hoarding money, they're hoarding futures. And this blind defense of them is fueling a ticking time bomb. Inequality is hitting a breaking point. The rage is simmering. The rent is too high, the food too expensive, the work too draining, and the rich keep smiling from their yachts. This won't hold. We are marching quietly and steadily toward a modern-day French Revolution, and the wealthy will not be spared the fallout. If billionaires don't wake up and start thinking beyond their own legacy and luxury, they'll find themselves on the wrong side of history, begging the same people they crushed for mercy. The system won't just crack, it will erupt.
No, it never fails that every time I say something about billionaires, somebody in the comment section is always, oh, that's just because you're not a billionaire. If you had $1 billion, you'd think differently. No, the fuck I wouldn't, man. Because I'm not a billionaire, and yet I help people now as much as I possibly can. And if somehow, magically, $1 billion dropped into my bank account, I would be spending that money on mental health for people who needed it. I would be helping the homeless. I would be rescuing animals who have been neglected and abused. I would be spending my time, my efforts, and my newfound resources on making humanity better. You want to know why? Because I'm not a friggin' psychopath. I give a shit about the American people. I give a shit about my neighbors. I give a shit about the helpless who can't help themselves. That's the difference. You guys touting all these billionaires around like there's something special. They're disgusting. They're a scourge on this goddamn planet. They're selfish. They hoard all the resources while everybody around them suffers. While the people around them can't afford to eat, can't afford to live, who suffer with mental health issues. Come on, man. Get over yourself. Money just magnifies who you are as a person. So if you're a piece of scumbag before you have money, you're going to be the same damn thing after you get money. But if you are a genuinely caring person, you're going to be magnified that much more, and you're going to give that much more. Stop it. Stop rooting and stop trying to put these billionaires up on a pedestal. They're disgusting, and they should be ashamed of themselves. Every last one of them. Democrat or Republican billionaires, it doesn't matter to me. They're all garbage. You cannot become a billionaire ethically.